Hello everyone, Mr. Dino023 here, and today I will present you this new series I'll be working on called Speedrunning 101. Before we start with the video, let me tell you what the series is about. Speedrunning 101 is intended for both new and experienced runners as well as people that knows nothing about speedrunning, but have heard probably the speedrunning term every here and there with their friends on the internet or whatever. Among many weekly episodes, I will be covering topics such as Speedrunning Origins, terminology, how to choose a game for speedrunning, different roles in communities, big events, and many more topics. So if you want to suggest a topic you want me to cover about speedrunning, make sure to leave it down in the comments, alright? Well, with that being said, let's roll it with the very first episode of the series, which is gonna be talking about Speedrunning Origins. Remember, if you enjoyed this video at the end, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell in case you want to get notified about the next series. The next video on the series or just any other videos that I upload to the channel. Alright, thank you and enjoy the video. So let's begin. If you're 100% new to this and probably just heard the term speedrunning somewhere online or between a friend's conversation and you're wondering, what is it? Well, let me explain it in the easiest way. Speedrunning is completing a certain objective within a video game, most likely beating a game in the fastest time possible. As I just mentioned, the most common objective of a speedrun is to beat a game as fast as possible or to gather all the items in a game to complete the 100% completion of such game while beating it as fast as possible. But those are just probably the two most common examples, as there might be other rules or conditions to be met, or maybe the final objective won't be to beat a game but only to see how fast a level can be beaten. Just to give you an example, a game like Cuphead can have over 50 different speedrun categories, and that is not even taking into consideration beating individual levels in the fastest time possible. But why and how can there be so many categories in a game? Well, that is a topic that will be covered in later episodes of the series. For now, let's focus at how speedrunning started and why it has gained so many followers, runners and enthusiasts through the years. It is very unclear when speedrunning started as a hobby, since there were games that from very early on mostly challenged the player to beat it as fast as possible to achieve a better ending or to have a better score. Finishing games or levels faster gave you special bonus such as score points in games like Sonic, or better endings such as Metroid for the NES that revealed for the first time to a player that Samus was a woman if you beat the game under a certain time. So, even if people were already working on developing the fastest strats and techniques to improve their times in games like those just to get better rewards, there were really very few to none documentation about this until the mid-90s. The game Doom was a sensation for PC players all over the world back in the day, and its community was incredibly active even on those early internet days, which caused that many Doom mods websites started emerging on the internet. These websites were mostly to share difficult or altered versions of the game, as well as to keep track of achievements such as beating the game using just the basic weapons or in certain difficulty without killing any enemies, or many other variations. Among these Doom demo sites, in 1994, the site Competent was launched, and what made this site unique was that in addition of keeping track of certain achievements, it was mostly focused on getting such achievements in the fastest possible way, therefore creating the very first recorded speedrunning leaderboard on the internet. Competent is still a very used resource and database site for speedrunning and Doom demos history. I'll leave a link in the description below in case you want to check it out. And in the date of this recording, the site counts with over 9,000 Doom demos, as well as about 750 hours of recorded speedruns gameplays. Following the popularity and interest into speedrunning Doom's demos, a lot of players wanted to put their hands into the next ID Studios FPS. The game was Quake. Speedruns of Quake mostly popularized the terms known as 100% for completing the demo, collecting all the items in it, as well as the runs that were just known as runs back in the day, which only cared about completing such demo in the fastest way possible and grabbing only the bare minimum or needed items to complete such run. Nolan Flock, aka Radix, creating a site where people could track all of these demo runs. The site was known as Nightmare Speed Demos, gathering its name for completing demos as fast as possible in the Nightmare difficulty, which was the hardest difficulty in the game. Up until this date, the only runs that were uploaded were about demos. Until June of 1997, there was a project called Quake Done Quick that was finalized and published. The relevance of this project is that this was the first full playthrough of the game, which was recorded with a total time of 1949. While this was not done in a single segment or a playthrough from start to finish in a single sitting, it was still very impressive and entertainment to watch. It gathered the team's best times all mixed into one single movie. This project helped popularize speedrunning more, at least into the FPS audience, since magazines and other forms of media started sharing information about this project and even distributing it in free CDs along such magazines. Just as with everything in this world, when something gets bigger and more popular, it means that more people want to chime in and get involved with such topic. This paved the way for another Quake page that was run by Gunnar, Madiv and Dre. The main difference of this site was that it focused in runs on easy difficulty rather than only in the Nightmare ones. A couple years later, the two Quake sites were merged and formed one of the most reliable speedrunning websites known to date, not only for Quake, but eventually for almost any game. The website I'm talking about is Speed Demos Archive. Little by little, Speed Demos Archive started creating a community as well as a solid base of rules to be able to upload runs into their site, such as specific timing methods, acceptable forms of video and audio levels in a recorded run, and many other guidelines to ensure the better quality and legitimacy of all the runs hosted in this site. Thanks to its forums, many people also were able to start gathering around the internet with other people that share the same passion about video games and started being able to share strats, theorize faster routes, and just overall collaborate with each other to bring the games to the fastest possible times and pushing them into its limits. Speed Demos Archive official timing method is mostly known now as SDA timing, which consists on starting the timer on the very same frame that a player gets control of the character and ending it where the player loses control of the character at the end of the game. This is probably not the most popular timing method anymore, and most of the new games decide to go with other timing methods that we're gonna cover in later episodes, such as in-game time or RT8, as well as many others. However, most of the old school games will continue to use this timing method to this day. As time went by, the internet started to become a more common thing, the creation of social media and the possibilities to share gameplays even live. The speedrunning community started growing at a massive and exponential scales, being able to gather millions of dollars for charity causes in events such as Games Done Quick and being able for some people to make a living of it. There is no question that speedrunning is the phenomenon that is here to stay for many years that keeps attracting more and more audiences. To this day, Speed Demos Archive is still around but is no longer the main source or the go-to website to look for speedruns. Most of the communities opted to form their independent subsites within the website called Speedrun.com, giving more freedom to each separate community on how to regulate and categorize the types of runs existing for each of their games. Well, now you might have many more questions about speedrunning. Unfortunately, this video was intended to talk only about its origins. Remember, there will be weekly videos for this series. Want to know what GDQ is? Why do people speedrun? And many more information about speedrunning in general? Well, make sure to check out my social media links in the description and follow me on YouTube for more interesting videos. This is Mr. Dino023 and I'll see you on the next mission.